Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Stogie video review. And as always, my name is Walt from, of course, StogieReview.com, and I'm here with another cigar review of the week. And this cigar is brought to us by a friend of the Stogie Review, Wing Fan. His name's John. He's been a fan for a little while, and we got to talking a little bit last week about the new Oliva Serie V size that was coming out shortly after RTDA, and that was the Lancero. And that I'd mentioned that I wasn't sure if my local shop was going to be getting any. He had still continued to stock the sizes that they did, pre-launch. So they had the Figurato, the Churchill Extra, Double Robusto, those sizes. And the Lancero wasn't one of them. So John generously offered to pick me two of them up from his local shop, which had plenty. And I of course said yes, and told him I'd be happy to review it. So here we are for the Oliva Serie V Lancero review. I really gotta do something about the lighting. Close to the camera is terrible. And like always, when I use my scissors, I'm just wetting the cap a little bit. And the whole idea here is just to soften the tobacco up just a little bit, to make it a little easier to manage with the scissors. The pre-light draw is nice and free, and it's got a rich tobacco flavor. It's nice. I would typically expect this cigar to be a little snug because of the ring gauge, which is a 38, and the length is 7 inches long. Now, I'm just looking at the Serie V information direct from olivacigar.com, and I wasn't aware, but it appears that either 2 Maduros will be released, or two Maduros have been released. I don't see them pictured. There's 9 total, and there's 7 natural, 2 Maduro. There's 7 images shown, so you can only imagine that the Maduros aren't pictured, because it doesn't look like there's anything dark enough to be a Maduro there. But that is yet another cigar I'm going to have to get my hands on. And quick toast and light, and I got lots of smoke starting off the cigar already. It's looking good so far. The draw is nice and free. It's off to a good start. And one of the reasons why I was so interested about this size, and I thought that it would be a good thing to bring up, is that I prefer smaller ring gauge cigars, and the reason being is at least in my mind, they taste different. I think that you get a more defined taste from the wrapper leaf, and I think that the smaller ring gauge cigars have like a sharper, crisper flavor to them as opposed to the big old fat cigars, the 60 ring gauge cigars. And I was excited to see this new Oliva cigar come out. I wasn't particularly fond of the sizes. Now I'm just briefly looking at them now. You've got the Churchill Extra, which is a 52 by 7. The Lancero now, it's a 38 by 7. The Figurato, 60 by 6. Double Toro, 60 by 6. 56 by 6 Torpedo. 54 by 5 Bellicoso. 54 by 5 Double Robusto. So there's nothing even remotely close to my size preference. This was before the Lancero came out, and now this is available, and I'm really looking forward to smoking the cigar. It's of all the cigars released at RTDA, I'm probably the most excited about this particular size, just because it really fits my preferred size. I mean, I prefer the smaller ring gauge, and the length, which is quite long, it's 7 inches. It's going to give me about the same smoke time as probably that Well, not quite a double Robusto, probably a little bit shorter, but you get the idea. It's going to be quite a long cigar, and it gives me that small ring gauge that I really prefer. So, with that said, I'm going to take a quick break, start smoking into my Serie B Lancero, and be back and we'll get started on the first third. Well, welcome back, folks. I'm happy to say that I'm just really into this cigar. It's wow, it's really good. It's better than the double Robusto. I really enjoy that size. In fact, I'm enjoying it more than I have any of the sizes of the Serie B. With the exception of that very first one that I had, and that was more of a special occasion. That was the first time that I had been given a cigar direct from a representative of a cigar company with the consent of the cigar maker to check out a cigar far before it was released. So obviously that has a little sentimental value, but this cigar is just fantastic. I'm just really happy with it. The major difference for me right now is that just like I usually find with smaller ring gauge cigars, the flavors just seem to be a little more crisp and just a little bit more aggressive. Now the spice that I get in the larger double Robusto Serie V is it's there, but it's kind of mellowed and laid back a little bit. This one it seems to be more up front. It's you really feel it when it's blowing through the sinuses. It gives you that little tingling, almost like a peppery sensation, and it's really enjoyable. The base flavor is like a deep leathery flavor, and the body's full body. But just like the other Serie V, it's very, very smooth, and it doesn't feel like it's too much cigar. It's not overpowering or overwhelming. It does a very good job of blending everything together and just giving you a good experience overall. Now, as far as the construction of the cigar goes, I didn't really handle it too much initially, and even if I did, I wouldn't have found a whole lot. It feels firm, packed well, consistent throughout the cigar. And it draws very nice. It's exactly what I would expect from a 36 ring gauge cigar. It's not like, as Dale would say, puffing on a garden hose, but it's got a little bit of resistance to it. It's nice. It makes you work just a little bit, but I find that nice in a cigar. I think that it tends to force me to slow down just a little bit, and it prolongs the cigar overall. And in a case like this, where I'm enjoying it, it's good overall. The ash is it's firm, it's a little flaky, but it drops without much effort. A little tap in the ashtray, it'll pop right off. Again, it's probably due to the small ring gauge size, but it's not bad. I tend to make hand gestures when I'm doing things, especially when I'm talking, and I haven't had anything fall on my table, on my keyboard, or anything like that. So overall, it's been going good across the board. Draw is good, volume of smoke is good, flavor, body, finish, it's just all very good right now. I'm really enjoying it. So without repeating myself even more, I'm going to take another quick break. Make sure I remember to continue to snap photos for the timeline that was requested, and I'll be back in just a sec, and we'll get started on the second third. Well, guys, welcome back. I'm still plugging away on my Oliva Serie V, the Lancero size, and as you can see, I had to take the band off. The band is located, well, you saw the video earlier, it's a little further down the cigar than what's generally common among cigars, and the band is kind of large, so it takes up a lot of surface area. and you know, again, it's positioned down in the cigar a little bit, so you end up taking the band off. Not too far into the cigar. I mean, according to my notes, it's been 60 minutes. So I'm an hour into the cigar. I had to pop the band off, and I'm going to keep on going. I know a lot of people like to stop smoking at the band, but in the case of this cigar, I think you've got tons and tons of cigar left by the time it's time to take the band off. So it came off, and here I am, smoking naked. So I'm only going to. I really expect the cigar to get much better, but in the second third, it's getting better than the first third. Everything's progressing very nicely. The body's developing even more. It's getting fuller. It's full bodied. It was from, you know, pretty much the start of the cigar. It was a full bodied cigar. But the nice thing about it is it's very, very smooth. So it doesn't feel overly strong, overly powerful, whatever the case may be. It's a nice, easygoing, relaxed cigar, but there is strength there. You know, you really need to be aware of that. Definitely have it after dinner or something like that. Now the flavor is, it's picking up a lot more character. I mean, there's a lot of like leathery flavors in there. There's a woody flavor. I'm even getting like hints of coffee, you know, coffee flavors in the cigar. It's very, very nice, and just like the other cigars. It has an odd sort of minty aftertaste, especially when you kind of purge the last little bit of like ambient smoke out of your mouth, and you take a little sip of water, and just like refresh your palate. You can taste the minty flavor, and I think that's fantastic. It's one of the characteristics about the cigar that I really enjoy, and it's probably one of my favorite parts of the cigar across the line, because I've always experienced that with these cigars. And it's just something nice. I don't get it very often, but it's definitely something that stands out in this cigar, and I really enjoy it. In terms of construction, the ash is pretty much the same, nice and firm, little flaky. It doesn't take much to knock it off in the ashtray. It still hasn't fallen all over the place. The resting smoke's fairly light. It puts off, I don't want to say a pungent aroma, but it's definitely in the air, and it's quite easy to detect. Even sitting in the room by myself with some exhaust going on. By the way, I turned the fan down. When I was editing the last clip, it was kind of loud, so I got to remember to keep the fan on low. But the smoke that fills the room has a nice aroma to it. You know, I really enjoy it, and the draw stayed very consistent. It's got a little bit of resistance to it, but it's nice. It doesn't make you work too hard. It provides lots and lots of this really thick, dense smoke. It's really easy to play with. You know, you've seen the cartoons where they blow out a heart and then they shoot the arrow through it with the smoke. If that was possible, this is a cigar you'd be able to do that with. The smoke is just very, very thick and dense, and it really gives you the feeling that it's coating your mouth. It has a lot of texture to it, and again, it's a really nice point of the cigar that I like. And just as before, it's got a little bit of an edginess to it, more so than the larger ring gauges, but I kind of enjoy it. It's nice. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to get back to listening to a little bit of music here. Unfortunately, my internet radio service just died. Apparently, they're doing maintenance. How convenient. Anyway, I'm going to kick back, listen to some more tunes, and get into the cigar even more. So I'll be back in just a sec, and we'll go over the final third and wrap things up, and I'll let you be on your way. Well, folks, welcome back for the final time here. I'm just now wrapping up my Oliva Serie V. Trying to make room on my messy desk here to grab my notes. And basically, I just took a list of a timeline listing for the pictures that was requested to create this timeline for the videos. And it is 9:25. It's been 120 minutes, so 2 hours. And as you can see, I've resorted to the old toothpick so I can continue smoking a cigar. And the interesting thing I found about this toothpick is it works great, but you can't be greedy with it. And what I mean is, you can you spear the cigar with the toothpick and you smoke it, and you really shouldn't try to pull it out and reposition the toothpick so you can smoke some more. I've always had bad luck with that. But it's a good indication to stop smoking a cigar when you can actually taste the wooden toothpick. And I've had that happen before too. And I think that's going to happen with this cigar. I'm really, really happy with it. I mean, the toothpick says it all. As the cigar tends to get shorter, it smokes hotter, which is it's common. It happens with every cigar, and it happens more so with the Lancero because of the smaller ring size. So you really have to pace yourself. About the time you take that band off, you really want to settle in and really take your time to get everything that you can out of the cigar. The body is, it's pretty much peaked. It's still full. It's very, very smooth still. The finish is fantastic. It's a very full-bodied smoke without being, that kind of punched in the mouth feel. It just doesn't give you that mouth feel of, tons and tons of strength. It's just, it's a full-bodied cigar, and it remains smooth throughout. That's one of the characteristics of the Oliva Serie V that I like the most. I mean, it's a good, strong, full-bodied cigar that will be nice and smooth all the way to the very end. The base flavor is pretty much the same. It's got like woody flavors in it. There's some coffee. There's a little bit of cocoa flavors. There's a good kind of leathery bite to it. It's just smooth throughout, and it's still got the little bit of a minty aftertaste. When you expel them, when you take that secondary kind of puff out of your mouth, you expel all the smoke. You let it sit a second, and you kind of give it another push, and you get that minute little bit of smoke out of your mouth. Splash the palate, a little bit of water to crispen it up, and this minty flavor just comes alive. It's it's a fantastic cigar. I haven't had to touch it up at all throughout this 2-hour time frame. It does smoke a little fast. I know that sounds really odd that I just smoked this little cigar, small ring gauge, in 2 whole hours, but it does burn a little fast. I probably easily could have gotten more time out of it had it smoked at the pace of the larger ring cigars. And I know that sounds really stupid. Obviously the larger ring gauge is going to smoke slower, but the Lancero smoked faster than I would have expected for a cigar this small. And the ash is still the same. It's nice and firm. It's got a little bit of flakiness to it. It falls with a gentle tap in the ashtray. Big hand gestures, don't make anything drop. As long as you don't try to have like a long ash competition with yourself, I think you'll be just fine. And I don't see this being a real big problem in the car unless you have the air on, or you have the fan turned up, and it's kind of blowing in your face. Obviously, the ash is going to go all over the place, and it will with most cigars. The smoke is still very thick and dense, and it's got like a creamy texture. It really coats your mouth, and it's just easy to play around with. When you expel the smoke, you'll see a big cloud just hover in the room and get sucked out of the room by the fan. It's really nice. Overall, everything about this cigar is just very nice, and I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but I really enjoyed this cigar. I think hands down, this is the best Serie V size out there, at least for my taste. I really I love this cigar, and that says a lot considering how much I enjoy the double Robusto size. But that is about it for the Oliva Serie V Lancero. Thanks again, John. I really appreciate the cigars. I've got one more left, and I don't know. I almost don't want to smoke it because my local doesn't have them. So I'm either going to have to order some, or I'm going to have to sweet talk my local shop owner into picking up a box of these so that I can continually pick them up during the week. But that about does it. Definitely recommend this cigar. If you like the Oliva Serie V, larger ring sizes, definitely give this one a try. I don't think it'd be disappointing. I'm not sure the price point of these, but the other sizes go for between $6 and $8, so they are relatively affordable, and I think they're well worth every penny you pay for them. So If you're a fan of the Oliva brand in general, I don't think you can go wrong with the Serie V. And I've said that before in the original Serie V review. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to take it away. So thanks again for all the comments, questions that come in. We're going to be recording your questions and my answers a little earlier this time of week. I have a housewarming party during the weekend, so we're forced to record a little earlier in the week. So if you have any questions that are kind of waiting in the wings, fire them off to us, and we'll get them included in the show notes. And try to do our best to answer your questions. So until next week, guys, happy smoking and take it easy.